It's one way, you stupid f***ing Excuse me, the road's one way, you stupid woman.
Women shouldn't be allowed on the fucking road, you know.
I've had 3 accidents since I've been driving vans. One of them was a major one, but none of them were my fault.
He's the latest cultural stereotype, but behind the label, he's got a secret life and a story to tell. Tonight on Real Life, who is White Van Man?
Aggressive, ignorant. About right.
What's your problem? What's your problem? Hey? Don't your indicator work? Are you too busy wanking yourself?
On the road, White Van Man takes no prisoners.
What's wrong with you?
F*** off, you old
How much fruit do you want?
just because you got a f***ing merc.
He's probably a fucking High Court judge.
In the urban jungle, he's developed a language all his own.
Come on! Look, he's double parked. Come on, fuck's sake! Come on, the guys are sitting there wanking.
Thanks to his forceful nature, he's got a column in the Sun.
Look at this fucking idiot. Look at this. Oh, fuck, I nearly crashed the van.
John Prescott even wants him banned.
That f***ing part like that, you.
On the road, you'll try to avoid him. Now it's time to understand him, because White Van Man is a philosophy for life, and your van doesn't have to be white. There are more than 2 million van drivers in Britain. This is a film about 3 of them, all in their 50s and all single. Blue Van Man, Green Van Man, and White Van Man. They make their living on 4 wheels, but their lives are very different.
And whatever comes our way, yeah, darling, go make it happen.
This guy once, I had my window down, or before I could wind the window up, he had his fist and he was smacking his fist through the window. And as I said, any sign of trouble, my first instinct, lock both doors, wind the windows up and sit tight. Do not get out the vehicle. Because the moment you get out the vehicle, you're complete meat. You've had it. Because I'm not a muscly, strong chap. I'm a skinny matchstick man.
Green Van Man is Simon from London. He doesn't read The Sun. He's a member of the performing arts.
Everybody knows an actor, or everybody knows someone who knows an actor, who's always out of work, who's always waiting for the phone to ring. So people aren't altogether surprised when they hear that I'm not just a van driver. It's par for the course that what you do in London isn't necessarily part of your chosen career. So this is my polyfiller. The van fills up the cracks. The van takes care of me when nothing else does. And it works. And it's worked for me for the best part of 30 years.
Up in Leeds, where he runs his own removal business, Ray's never even heard of White Van Man. He's also never heard of career structure.
Over my lifetime, I must have done over 50 jobs. I started work in the local grocery store in Elm Firth. Then I moved on to Pontins Holiday Camp, where I got sacked for shagging. Then I started work as a milkman. And as a milkman, I couldn't get up in the morning. I never could get up in the morning. After that, I decided to work as a bacon boner. And you had to be fast. You had to get those bones out fast. So then I moved on to another job, selling pork pies. When I was about 40, I started getting a bit worried about what I was going to do in my life. So I decided to start up as a butcher. Then I went to America, came back, and I worked as a barman in an insurance company, back into engineering again. carpet fitter, car salesman. I can't stick at a job for too long because I get fed up. And as soon as I get fed up, I start messing about. As soon as I start messing about, I get the sack.
It's a lovely day today. Yeah, I've had some near misses. I had one bloke, I was underneath the bonnet one day, he come past, whacked my mirror. Shot off. You know, well-to-do bloke. I slammed the bonnet down, got in the motor, and off I went, chasing him. And I caught up with him. Told him he was in serious fucking trouble. He's hit my motor, hit and run, I said. Failing to stop after an accident. And he said, I'll pay cash. I said, yeah, I think you fucking will, I said. He said, how much is it? I said, a score. He said, does that mean £50? I said, fucking right you do. He gave me 50 quid. So I bought 2 fucking mirrors.
Made in Wales, transported to Brighton, Taffy is White Van Man. His speciality is rubbish. One of his more recent jobs, dumping a van load of dog faeces from a garden in Hove.
I was down the mines. In Wales, I worked on the mines and I dug in what they call the smallest seams down there, which is about 2 foot 16. Hands and knees. And then I joined the Merchant Navy. Seen the world. Come out, went back down the pits. You know, I have been on the dole and on the sick through the drink. I've just come off it all now and, you know, put myself into it to see if I can keep going without signing on again. Because there's no money in there. It's no good, you know, being on the old social because there it is out here, there's money to be earned.
For many van men, the local tip is a second home. The problem is they're supposed to pay to dump rubbish. Today, Ray's getting just £10 to get rid of a sofa for a furniture store.
Well, at the tip, you're supposed to pay £50 minimum charge in order to dump anything. And the problem is, as soon as I open up my van, they know that I'm commercial and you're not allowed to dump commercial waste. You've got to be private. I don't like doing it. It makes me sweat blood because they give me earache all the time if they catch me. And if they catch me, I have to go on to the next tip and the next tip. And it costs me petrol money. I'm trying to keep my costs down. I'm doing it for next to nothing. So I can't afford to go from tip, 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 tip. And those people at the tip, they think they're gods. So to overcome that, I've got to outthink them. And the way that I outthink them is speed. I like to get in and out fast before they've realised what's happened. It's my own suite. Hey?
What are you in?
A car, round the corner.
You're not?
Yeah, I just had it on the roof rack.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mum,
I just put it on the roof rack. Okay, don't worry about it.
Ray's got his dumping strategy down to a fine art. So far, he hasn't been caught.
Is it all worth it for tenner?
It is if I'm not busy. If I've got a bit of spare time, I've got to make some money in it. If I haven't any money that week, I've got to get it somehow. So it's worth it for a tenner. I'm sure a lot of people have put themselves out for a tenner to make it quicker. Well, these people think they're God. They sat there all day long with nothing to do. They're just watching out for people like me. And I like to beat them. If I can do, I will do.
In the self-employed world of White Van Man, there's no such thing as a regular paycheck, and as Taffy's business card says, absolutely anything goes. Today, he's getting £90 for a garden clearance.
Really, say 45 a run, innit? It's a long way out. So I put a tenner in the petrol each time. That brings it down. By the time I give Michael the cut the bob in there, I don't get a lot out of it. Not really. Especially if I ain't got no more work this week. Do you know what I mean? I had these when I was in the Merchant Navy, when I was about 16. Some of them got meanings. 3 of us had them in Wales. 3 of my mates. 1, you know, apparently died, got murdered. That's my first wife. There she is, look. She left me.
She crossed the name off?
Yeah. Another one there. That was my second wife, Marlene. That's finished. Got a girlfriend there somewhere. Went to Bristol one day and had it put on me. Of course, a couple of weeks later, I had to go and have it taken away.
There's more crossings off there than people's names.
It just goes to show I'm out with many women, doesn't it?
My fascination with the customers that I work for and the people that ride in my van is their lives. It's like a confessional box, that car. You know, people will reveal things and confess to things that they wouldn't confess to acquaintances or friends at work, because they know darn well that when I go, they may never see me again. So do I detect an Antipodean twang? You lived in Australia,
Yeah, I
did you?
did for 8.5 years.
But you're not from Australia originally?
No, I'm English.
Oh, right.
I just, at the age of 22, I just decided to go off and go to Australia for a while.
You're what?
I'm setting him up for hot dates on Sunday.
Who with?
2 friends of mine. He's going to have a choice of two very pretty girls.
You're getting him a choice.
Well, yeah, I know. And
He gets a choice.
One's in Edinburgh and one's in
London.
Fulham.
In Fulham, yeah.
And have either of these girls met Dave?
No, not yet.
Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Pretty much so, yeah.
Is that a fallacy or is it real?
No, it is. It's pretty.
Are all these pop stars chucking down all this stuff
No, it's
through all their orifices, or is this just a myth created by the media?
I don't really know. I don't really know what they get.
What do you mean you don't really know? You work for EMI, you're rubbing shoulders with all these pop stars and you don't know. Come on.
I think that's what was so great about Miles Davis, that he always kept you guessing. You never knew what the next thing was, the next project, the next idea, the next move in his playing.
Do you suffer from road rage?
No, the others suffer from road rage. I just tell them fucking off. Sorry, mate. What did I hit the mirror?
Yeah, anything else? You would have paid for it.
All right, sorry about that. My apologies. Nothing broke, is it?
No, you take your fucking head at your arse, I know that.
Mr. Angry. Shouldn't be so narrow, this road, should it, really?
Ah.
Hey?
Yeah, this woman booked me to take me down to Brighton to collect some stuff from a flat she'd been living in. So I collected her from London, took her down to Brighton. We parked outside the flat. She said, wait here, I'm going to go in and get my stuff. She went in, I waited, 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, nothing happened. I thought, where's this woman? What's going on? After about half an hour, she didn't emerge, but this bloke emerged. And he came round and he was obviously very angry, red-faced, there was smoke coming out of every orifice, and I suddenly clicked. She had left this guy, she'd come up to London, escaped from him, and he thought I was the other man. So he came round the front of the van, I realised what was going on, I closed the window, locked the door and sat there. And he started shouting abuse at me. He said, you bastard, you took my woman from me, how dare you do this, who do you think you're flitting with her, she's mine, she's not yours, you get out of it, go on, get off home, go away. And I said, look, I'm just the van driver, okay, I'm nothing to do with this, I don't know the woman. And this guy started kicking my van. I snapped. And at that point, I broke the rule and I climbed out of the van and I'd lost it completely. And I said, you touch my van one more time and that's it, I will smack you. And this was suicidal, because he was twice my size. He was a huge mountain of a bloke, and I'm a little skinny guy. And he actually, thank God, he backed off.
Simon's not a risk taker, but for Taffy, breaking the rules is part and parcel of the job. When there's work about, he's dumping rubbish on a daily basis. Today it's 25 bags of rubble, but only he knows where they're going.
I can't pay the prices for tipping it in a big industrial tip because I would never be able to get any work. The prices would be sky high. I don't tip it on the road or anything like that. I actually go to a site where I've got an arrangement with someone so I can empty it and just keep plodding on and earning a little living. You know.
It's a personal arrangement you got with someone?
Yes, yes. And it's between me and him, no one else.
Trade secret.
Trade secret, is it?
The van has become a way of life, but it also provides an escape from the past.
I was very high profile that I couldn't actually go down to the corner shop and buy a paper without being spotted.
I was drinking between 10, 15 pounds a day. I could go out with £60 in my pocket and spend a lot. Go home potless.
I'm just an old hippie. This is where they end up. In bed doing removals. Being a van man gives me lots of freedom. Gives me freedom to choose to do things when I want to do them. When my diary is blank for the week, and I wake up in the morning, I think, thank God for that, I can relax all week. The problem is that people ring me up and want me to go out to work. It's a pain in the arse, but I've got to do it. So all my jobs, I try to book after 10 o'clock, so they can have a lie-in.
And you can do what you want.
I used to be a hippie, and basically I suppose I'm still a hippie. And I gradually got into the lifestyle of it through smoking dope. And all my friends ended up smoking all the time. And we used to sit around in circles and smoke dope and listen to music. It was great fun. It was a fantastic feeling. Having the van takes me back in some ways to being a hippie, because I can not shave in the morning, I can not shower in the morning, and I can leave my hair all over the place, and I can go out relaxed. I can go out in shorts, I can go out in what I feel like doing.
I had nobody till I met you.
So I'm still a hippie inside my head. I'm just an old hippie. This is where they end up. In bed doing removals.
It's your life, and you can do what you want.
With Miss Neville.
Very good taste.
Mr. Evans, who is late. Well, Doctor in the House, I think, started around 1969. I was in the first 2 or 3 series, and it ran from 69 through to 74, 75. And when I was in it for the first 2 or 3 series, it was mega. And it was up there with Crossroads, Coronation Street. And we hit the top of the ratings, and it stayed there for some considerable time. Trapshaw, who is late, who? Trapshaw, who is late? Friend of Mr. Evans.
Who is late?
At this point in my career, the skies were the limit. I thought, if I can do this well, so soon after leaving drama school, I'll have no problems forging a successful career as an actor. And it was a joy and a privilege to be involved. And it did mean that I was very high profile, that I couldn't actually go down to the corner shop and buy a paper without being spotted. I couldn't walk out of my house for 5 minutes without people pointing at me and saying, "Hey, you, it's the Doctor in the House bloke, it's him, it's Dave, what's his name, Dave Priddock." Little did I realise that I was just on a very lucky streak, and it didn't last. And after Doctor in the House, I had a fairly quiet time because of the typecasting problem. Doctor in the House was a golden period, certainly.
When I was at school, I couldn't read or write. They thought they called it you was a dunce. You was thick in the dunce. So even when I was at the infant school, I can remember spending more time on the rocking horse than I could in a class. As far as I was aware, there was no such thing as being dyslexic. He was thick. He was a dunce. And I stayed in, when other people was going up a class, I had to stay in the same class because I was nowhere near them. You know, I couldn't pass any exam or anything because I kept cheating by trying to look at theirs. I tried to do work that didn't involve reading and writing because I couldn't read or write, so I have to do something that didn't involve any of that. This is brilliant for me because I can't read or write, and this is probably what I wanted all my life, that what I'm doing now.
A £15 wardrobe removal has tempted Ray out of bed. Simon's heading for a gallery in Mayfair to pick up sculptures for an artist. And Taffy's going where he always goes when work dries up, the local tip.
And I did this, sold within 15 minutes of coming into the gallery, put it on the print, it was gone.
How much did it go for?
5.5
grand.
Yeah, reasonable, I think.
At £14 an hour, Simon would have to work solidly for 9 weeks to buy it, but he'll shift it for 60 quid.
Okay, I think you tend to end up using your van for jobs that you particularly like doing, and you become more and more selective. When I first started van driving, I used to do anything for anybody, anywhere, taking anything. You make judgments. When people ring you up and ask you for a van, I go through a whole checklist. Is there going to be a heavy sweat involved? Heavy, sweaty jobs, like moving a double wardrobe up 3 flights, I do not want to know.
Right down, that's it. Right. Oh, whoa, 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 hold it. Can you lift your end up?
Yeah, no problem.
I'll go up first. I've got to stop it slipping, won't you? Okay. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Oh, shit. Right, okay.
Lift it now, yeah?
Yeah, straight out. Oh, fucking hell. Hey, I've never had one like this before. It's a nightmare. What I'm wondering is if it'll go upstairs or not. Because it's a big one. We only just got it down here. Is it same size flat? Pain in the bloody ass. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a flyer, but it's not. Depends what happens on the other end. It could be even harder on the other end. Problem is, they never tell you. They tell you lies.
For those days when the phone's not ringing, Taffy and Michael have developed a business strategy borrowed straight from Steptoe & Son.
Yeah, look at that down there, look. There's an old bath there, Michael. That's worth a few bob, that bath, look. Look at that. That's worth a few bob. If that wasn't on there, you'd get about 40 or 50 quid for that, but people would still buy it for the taps. Oh, look at this here, look, see? That'd come in handy for someone, wouldn't it? Big old pair of Stilsons. That's all right for taking them taps off there, look. Could have used it to take the taps off there. It's amazing what people chuck away. It's amazing. You'd never believe it.
One person's rubbish is another person's treasure.
It's like this. If you name something, one day it'd come in here and I would take it. If you said you wanted a pair of shoes, I'd get them. If you wanted a jacket, I'd get it. People down this way, if they want a new telly, a fuse could go in their box, in the plug. They'd dump it. They won't have it repaired. It's like more money in sense. It keeps you fit. It keeps you fit, this do.
We'll have a go, but we're not going to try too hard. The idea is to get in the garage. That's the whole idea. We'll put a show on. If there's any problems, yeah, tell him we haven't got time to do it. We've got another job. We're running a bit late. Secret is to get away with as little as possible. Down.
Ray has an advert in the evening paper. It describes him as reliable and careful.
Oh, please, no. Shit. Hang on, I'm in this fence here. Hold on. Down a bit. Down a bit. It's tipped onto the side. Can you put it down and we'll slide it up? Put it down. Right. Okay. Now this is when we'll decide whether it's going or not. Now what's that glass? What's that glass? It's your time. Right, it's got to go vertical. Don't let it drop on my head, whatever you do. I'll be a dead man.
That looks quite good. I've never seen nothing like that before. I suppose I better keep there. Have you seen anything like that before? 1953. Must be the coronation.
What would you do with that?
I'll keep it and I'll probably take it to a bookstore to see if anybody's interested in it when they walk past my stall. I don't know what to ask for it. Could be worth a lot of money. It's like a rat. You're in there looking around to see what you can get hold of. One day I might hit the jackpot with something. I don't know, it's like in the blood, you know what I mean? Once you see something, you think, oh, I could get rid of that, I'll make a few bob on that. But it's just something I've thought of, to make myself earn a living.
A beefy-looking relative has made his way to the top of the stairs to help out. Ray won't be leaving until the wardrobe has made it all the way into the bedroom.
Take it back your way. Okay. Oh, it's scratching it now. I can see it doing it now.
Skirt now.
Yeah.
Not turning it back now,
no. You've got a scratch on it, love. You okay, are you? Yeah, we couldn't guarantee it. Will it be so awkward?
Right, Dad, you want to drop your end?
If it had been from, say, a bungalow to a bungalow, it'd been a piss ball. But just them steps. And then he got his relative out to help us. So he knew we weren't going to do it. It sussed me out. So he got somebody to make sure it got in.
Were you not going to bother otherwise?
No, but I had to once he came out. He got involved in it, you see. Some of you win, some of you lose, but he had missussed. Not what you can do about it.
I mean, how often do you get, stuck in a position like that and you're only getting £15 at the end of it?
Hopefully, not very often. These are the things that age you. They can turn you into an old man if you don't watch it. So I try to avoid them if I can. You don't want them. I'd rather do without them.
What do you think about Robbie Williams?
I think he's absolutely fantastic.
Well, musically or as a bloke?
Just a bloke. He came into our canteen about 9 months ago.
Yeah.
And did a gig for us in the canteen to say thank you for all our hard work.
He did a gig in your canteen?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. He must be a nice guy.
Yeah, and he's very sincere.
My curiosity about people stems from an interest as to how they live their lives compared with mine. Because I know I'm not normal. That I know. I live a strange, weird life in the sense that I don't have a consistent career pattern. I don't have one single career. I have a number of different strands to my life. And so my life sometimes, if I look at it objectively, is strange.
So what sort of plays do you do?
I don't do stage much. I mean, the last stage show I did was 2 or 3 years ago. It was a fringe show. My professional work centres around voice, mostly.
Yeah.
I do voiceovers. I work for...
What voiceovers have you done?
Oh, loads.
That I would know.
Over the years. Let me think. I can't really.
Simon is a loner. He was adopted as a child and never married his long-term girlfriend, Deborah. Earlier this year, she died of cancer, and Simon now lives alone.
I suffer from lots of things, doubt, confusion, bewilderment about life. But one thing I never suffer from, and I can say this quite openly, I never suffer from loneliness. I've never been lonely ever in my life. I think solitude is golden. It's sacrosanct. It's wonderful. So not having a family around me and not having children around me feeds that. And it also means that I don't have to go out and do things I don't want to do in terms of earning cash. I think an awful lot of people out there have miserable lives because they're trapped. They're trapped into a family situation whereby they've got to pay the mortgage, they've got to earn enough to put food on the table for their wife and their 3 kids. I've reduced the got-tos in my life to the absolute minimum, That's the way I've crafted my lifestyle. And I think driving a van aids me in that hugely for the freedom it gives me.
Freedom. It governs the way they work and the way they live.
When I'm out in this car, I sit back, relax, and just drive. I drive because it's lovely. It's a lovely car, and I like driving around the country. I like driving through the towns, and I like people watching me. I like people looking at me when I'm driving. Because it's an unusual car. I'm an unusual person. They don't know what I do for a living. Ducking in bins, and then when they see me in this car, they must think I've won a lottery or something. I ain't got a pot to piss in. I ain't got nothing. I've got enough to keep going. That's the best of it with me, is that I'm just keeping myself like water to keep the car going and my van going. I work jolly well hard, and I deserve something like this. I think I do anyway. And if it wasn't through my mum, I wouldn't have it, but there again, she's a darling. What it is, I used to drink a lot of beer. I used to be in the pub, day in, day out, day in, day out. In the night time, I'd go out, get drunk, go home. I had nothing to look forward to. It cost me 3 marriages to drink it, so... You know, I'm quite happy like I am now. If I didn't drink so much years ago, I'd probably be still married to my first wife. But the drink got the better of me, and it was rows and God knows what, and I can't blame her for leaving me now when I look back at it. While the men were out walking the meadows so green, I showed the roots of my thrashing machine.
3 single men. Where do they stand in life as they approach their mid-50s?
Driving a van was not something that I had anticipated I would spend much time doing. I was so lucky when I first started acting that I assumed that I would become and remain a full-time actor for most of my working life.
I was just a bastard, I suppose. A bastard to myself and a bastard to the women I was living with.
I wouldn't want a woman that wasn't sexy. No way. Because I'm still fit.
Between the age of 22, 23, up until I was 40, I was always in and out. Always in and out the prison. Most of the prison time I've done is done through domestic violence. Fighting in dance halls, fighting in pubs. I was just a bastard, I suppose. A bastard to myself and a bastard to the women I was living with. I had 3 marriages, and each marriage ended through my drink and my violence. The drink must have drove my first wife mad, because I was so violent with the drink that I just went out for a drink one day and never went back. I must have realised it was my fault, everything was happening indoors with the domestics, and I left and come over to Worthing. And in this shelter was these dossers. And I went over there and started having a chat to them, and I started drinking. But this time I was probably half plotted, drunk. Of course, when it was time to go home, that way, to my missus, I didn't go that way. I went with the boys. Stayed with them for about between 3 and 6 months I stayed with them. Just behind me is a shop, Marks and Spencer's. That was a doss house 25, 30 years ago. And I was one of them dossers that was in there. I remember a time there when I was looking out of the window and my mother and father walked past. And I was looking at them and I wanted to go out and talk to them. You know, ma'am, I am here. But I wasn't. I was so dirty. I didn't want to go and confront my parents. I actually watched them walk past. And I think at that time then it brought tears to my eyes, because I should have gone out and spoke to them, but I just didn't. That was me. What a life. I've always wanted a van to get me on my feet, because I knew one day if I got a van, I wouldn't have to look back on things. I wouldn't have to rely on the social security. And I was on the sick before I started. I was on the sick through the drink, even up until a couple of years ago. And I just stopped drinking, and my man bought me a van, and I haven't looked back. I've kept going forward.
Stop, it's a nice day for it. Excuse me. Do you know where,
Waverley Garth is.
Waverley Garth?
It's near Bismarck Street now. Oh, not a clue. Bombed out of his brains. What the fuck? Excuse me, lads, do you know where Waverley Garth is? Waverley Garth, off Bismarck Street. No.
Thought you'd listen to my reasoning.
Like all good van drivers, Ray doesn't use his A to Z.
He said get into it to Waverley Garth. No. Down that way, is it? Bismarck Street?
Yeah.
Where's Bismarck Street, look? He said come into Waverley Garth to find it. He said I can get into your door through Waverley Garth. Down there, is it?
You go past these houses here, it is End Street.
So this is Waverley Garth there then?
Yeah.
Got it. So it's back up there, round here, and it's over there, is it?
Yeah. Just behind this block.
Things could work out just like I want them to.
Removals.
If I could have the other.
This is Bismarck Street, isn't it? Is this Bismarck Street up here? Pain in the ass. There's definitely nobody in there. This may not be Bismarck Street. I'm not certain it's Bismarck Street.
The rules. Those despicable confines. Well, now I make the rules.
Okay, one last time.
Sometimes I wonder, was it purposeful?
To remain a working actor constantly, you have to phone, write letters, pester people, put yourself in the marketplace constantly, sustain a high profile of availability. And somewhere in the mid-80s, I just lost the plot and lost interest, lost my enthusiasm to be an actor. I didn't have this burning urge to get up and be seen doing things, to dance around on stage, wearing other people's clothes, saying other people's lines in other people's plays. I started questioning spending my entire life professionally being other people, mostly fictional. And where was the real Simon Bowen? Where was the real Simon? And I think I had a sort of identity crisis, which made me think, I've got to stop all this, take a break and have a look at things. And I really stopped pushing as an actor. And from the mid to late 80s onwards, I really ceased to be a full-time working actor.
Ray's in danger of ceasing to be a removal man. His customer still hasn't turned up.
That's how it goes, you do all that fucking about. And then they're not there. It's something you'd expect in Beeston, isn't it? I used to shag a girl in Beeston. Yeah. She was going out with a guy called Brad. Well, she was married to Brad. I shagged her on her wedding anniversary. She had it all set up upstairs in the house, waiting for me.
About 12 months ago, I lost my dad. After a funeral, people like to have a drink. And I'd lost my dad, and when I went back to the pub at the Legion at Shoreham, I couldn't drink. I couldn't drink. And I think that's from that time onwards, I haven't drunk nothing like I used to. My mum and dad and myself was very close, and we still are very close, but I've lost my dad. I love my mum. She's an angel. without I've lost my dad. I don't, you know, I wouldn't want to lose my mum yet. She was the one that bought old Jezebel for me.
We're due to move somebody here today. Yeah. Is it you?
No.
Yeah, out today.
Oh, they went yesterday.
They went yesterday?
Yeah.
This is Bismarck Street, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is 54 Bismarck Street.
Yeah. There's a young girl there with 2 kids.
It's a young girl. Well, it's a guy that phoned me up.
Might be one of the taxi drivers.
Well, there were that many guys going in there. I don't know what you're on about.
Oh, she's not on the game, is she?
No, there were taxi drivers.
No, I can do about it.
Better get camera over there on that mason.
What he's done is he's booked me. Then he's rung round afterwards to see if he gets somebody cheaper. He's got somebody cheaper. They've come round and done the job yesterday. He hasn't bothered to phone me up and tell me that he didn't want me. So I've had to chase all the way out to do the job with Jason. So I've got to pay up now. Pay up Jason.
So you're quite angry about it?
Oh yeah, it pisses me off. What can you do about it? It's just an occupational hazard, really. It happens to everybody, every self-employed man. It happens every now and then. I've just got to live with it. Go home, sit next to the phone and get another job and switch off. You know, other people in other areas might be more reliable, but you'd expect it to be, wouldn't you? Half of them are drug users.
The jobs cost Ray £60. He can't afford to go home with nothing.
Is Joanne there, please? It's Ray, the removal man, love. You just phoned up about a suite moving. Yeah, do you want it moving today? Yeah, have you had any quotes yet then, love? I'll tell you what, I'll do it for 12 quid, love, if you want it doing now, yeah. OK, I'll just take your name and address, love, just hold on. Tracked it again.
Don't you want to buy any tits? Hey, loads of tits. Hey, you're frightened of them now.
Salesmen have a way with words, and Taffy's developed a style of his own for car boot sales. On Sundays, he tries to sell everything he salvaged from the local tip during the week.
I tell you what, there's no different.
That's rotter.
45. Go on then. Twist my hand. Magic. We've got 40 quid. We can keep going now. What? Pound a piece? 7 quid?
I don't. I'll give you 3 quid for the 2 pallets. That's all I want. Pallets for that. I want.
Make it another 2 quid and you can have the lot. I knew I'd sell them. That's why I was grinning. I knew this man was going to have them because you can see. I wouldn't say I'm going to knock it down. I waited till he hesitated and then get in. Fiver? There you go. Magic.
Okay.
Good man. Thanks very much.
The clothes that you're wearing, where do they come from?
Oh, no. Oh. Out of the skip. Well, out of the tip, the both of them. Nice, keep me warm. Yeah, it's a hard life. I'm trying to earn a few bob. You know what I mean?
Well, Monday night's French jive night. I've been going for years, a couple of years now, but I'll never be a fantastic jiver. I'm good enough to pull women, now and then. That's the perk of being a bachelor, isn't it? You can go any night of the week and you can meet people. You can go and have a drink and everything and enjoy yourself, and you never know, I might meet that perfect woman tonight. It's a while since I had a decent one. But they've all had something wrong with them. I had a young child and I've got a granddaughter.
Do you keep in contact with your daughter and your granddaughter?
Well, I've seen them a couple of times. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but I thought it was best to leave them to the new father to bring them up. And then I did see my daughter when she was, I think she was 20. And then another time, a week later, but I haven't seen them since.
What would you want to get from a wife?
She'd have to be sexy for a start. I wouldn't want a woman that wasn't sexy. No way. Because I'm still fit. So she's got to have that first and foremost. And she's got to have a nice character. Of course, that's very important. She's got to be easygoing. And above all, she ain't going to give me aggro, because I don't want aggro.
I have no problem with my image as a van driver. I don't look at life in those terms. I'm not fazed by being labelled. You could call me an out-of-work actor, you could call me a working actor, you could call me a failure because I'm not successful by the age of 54. None of these things bother me one whit or tittle. I couldn't give a monkey's what people think about me. I think you've got to reach a point in life when you've got to be your own man and not care about what people think. And if people think less of me because I drive a van as part of my living, then that's their problem, not mine.
Taffy's up by £65, thanks to the people of Brighton and Hove who have brought back their own rubbish.
This is another life to me, this. Another life. It is another life. It's like somebody have given me a gift. Do you know what I mean? Somebody has like given me a gift. And I mustn't look back from now on. I've got to keep going with my van. That's what it's like to me. It's a beautiful lifestyle. To me, this is great. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. This is it. I don't want to look back. I don't want to look back on my past. I want to keep going as I'm going. And I don't want to ever stop. Keep going when I'm 70. What? If I reach 70?
How was it tonight?
An excellent night tonight. Plenty of women, plenty of good dancers. A boogie, boogie, boogie all night long. And I'm coming back Monday.
Anybody take your fancy?
Yeah, there were one or two. Beautiful young girls, an old man like me. Keep me alive and keep me going forever. Yeah, sure.
I think the majority of people's perception of van drivers is pretty low. I think we're considered a rare species of weirdos, oddballs, people who don't fit in.
La 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 la.
There are misfits, and those misfits do all kinds of odd things to escape from the 9-to-5 syndrome. And one of the escapes is having a van.